Welcome to another tutorial by Loom and Looney. Today we're going to learn how to make my not so ordinary Starburst bracelet. The bands that I used to make this bracelet were the mermaid bands by rainbowloom.com, and it was made on the rainbow loom. Today's version is going to be this one that used the rainbowloom.com white bands, Persian ocean bands, and blue bands. This is the version we'll be making today, which used one loom, and it will require an extension. This one, which is the full wrap, required two looms. So it's your choice which you decide to do today. You will require at least one loom, your hook, a C-clip, and your bands. First thing you want to make sure is that you have your rainbow loom in the aligned position. And we're going to start by laying our border. My border is going to be in white. So we're going to start by just placing one band here on this middle peg for closure. Learned that trick from Loves to Loom. Thank you for that little tip. Then we're going to lay our border bands going out to the right and to the left, and just going up both sides. I like to do both sides at the same time. Oops. I'm just going straight up both sides, the left and the right. There will be 3 layers of bands, so you want to push your bands down as you go along. And then when you get to the end, you're just going to bring it into the middle, the left, and to the right. So your loom should look something like this. You're going to come down to the beginning again. And the next band you're going to lay, which is going to be my ocean blue Persian, are going to be, I'm going to call them the T bands. You're going to come up in the center, and then to the right, and then to the left. Center, trying to make sure they're not twisted, and this one wants to stay twisted. Right and left. Center. These ocean bands like to stick together. Right and left. Bring it up in the center. then to the right, and to the left. Up in the center, to the right, and to the left. Center, to the right, and to the left. In the center, to the right, and to the left. Center, right, and left. Center. Oops, that one was twisted. Right. And left. Center. Right. And left. Center. Right. And left. And then the last one is just going to be one up in the center. We are not going to lay any right and left bands over our end border bands. And this is what it should look like so far. We're going to come down to the beginning. And our last layer of bands, which for me is going to be blue. And we're going to start laying our last layer of V-bands. You're going to start on the second peg and lay a band diagonally down to the middle peg. And you're just going to lay a V. And you're going to do this the whole way up your loom, laying bands in the shape of a V. And you're going to want to make sure that you push these down as you go. Oops. Trying to keep my hands out of the way as much as possible so you can see. Again, laying these in a V. The whole way up your loom. Whoops, that one popped off. And our last one in a V shape. And this is what your loom should look like. Now you're going to turn your loom around. And you're going to take a band in whatever color your border's in. You're going to lay a double cap band on the center peg. and we're going to start the looping process. First bands we're going to loop are the ones that we laid in like a T pattern. So you're going to go inside this cap band, get the top band, and loop it forward onto itself. Again, these are those T bands that we laid. Then you're going to go into that center peg and get that top band and loop it out to the right onto itself. Again, trying to keep them as untwisted as possible. And this one wants to be twisted. Go back into that center peg and loop it out to the left onto itself. Then you're going to go back into that center peg and loop it forward onto itself. Go back into that next center peg and loop that band to the right onto itself. Then back into that center peg and loop that left one onto itself. Back into that same center peg and loop it forward. Then you're going to go into that same center peg and loop that right band onto itself. Back into that same center peg and loop it out to the left. Back into the same center peg and loop it forward. Into that center peg. Loop it out to the right. Gonna go back into that same center peg and loop it out to the left. Then you're going to go back into that same center peg and loop it forward. Then you're going to go into that center peg and loop it to the right. Go back into that center peg and loop the next band out to the left. Go back into that same center peg and loop it forward. Go into that next center peg, get the next band, and loop it to the right. Go into that same center peg, grab the next band, and loop it to the left. Go into that same center peg, grab the last band, and loop it forward. Go into that next one, next center peg, loop that top band out to the right. Go into that center peg, loop the next band out to the left. You're going to go into the center and loop the next band, the last band, up to the forward. Going to go into the center peg, loop the top band, out to the right. Going to loop the next band in that center peg, out to the left. Next band in the center peg, loop it forward. Go up to the next center peg. That top band, you're going to loop it to the right. Go into that same center peg and loop the next band out to the left. Go into that same center peg and loop it forward. Go into that next center peg, loop that top band out to the right. Go into that same center peg and loop that next band out to the left. You're going to go into that same center peg and loop it forward. Go into that next center peg, loop that top band out to the right. Go into that same center peg, grab the next band, and loop it out to the left. You're going to go into that same center peg, grab that last band, and loop it forward. And that was the last of our T-bands. And this is what your loom should look like so far. Now we're going to start looping our V-bands. Now to loop our V-bands, we're going to start looping those from the side pins, side pegs. We're going to loop those forward in an X pattern. So the left is going to go forward to the right peg, and the right peg is going to go forward to the left. So we're going to start looping from this left peg over to the right forward peg, and the right peg over forward to the left peg. We're going to go into this side, left side peg, grab that V-band, pull it forward, to the next right one. Gonna go into the right hand side, to the right peg, and pull it forward onto the left hand peg and an X. Gonna go up to the next peg, grab that V-band, pull it diagonally over to the opposite side peg in an X pattern. And we're just going to continue to do this the whole way up our loom. Into that side peg, grab our V-band, pull it to the opposite side peg, forward. And we're just going to continue to do this the whole way up. Left side peg, opposite side forward to the right. Right side peg, and an X pattern up to the left side. Left side peg, grab that V-band, pull it forward opposite to the right hand side. Right hand side peg, pull it forward opposite to the left hand side diagonally. Left hand side, grab that V-band, pull it forward diagonally to the right hand side. Right hand side, grab that band, pull it forward diagonally to the left hand side. Left hand side, grab that V-band, grab it, pull it forward diagonally to the right hand side. Go in that right peg, grab that V-band, pull it forward diagonally to the left hand side. Left hand side, grab that V-band, pull it forward diagonally to the right hand side. Right hand side peg, grab that V-band, pull it forward to the left hand side. left hand side, grab that V-band, pull it forward, over to the right hand side. Right hand side, grab that V-band, pull it forward, diagonally to the left hand side. Left hand side, go inside that pin, inside those bands, grab that V-band, pull it forward diagonally to the right hand side. Go in the right hand side, grab that V-band, pull it forward to the left hand side. Go in that left hand side, grab that V-band, pull it to the right hand side. Go in the right hand side, grab that V-band, pull it forward diagonally to the left hand side. And this is what your loom should look like so far. Now the last thing to do is to loop our border. Just going to go inside that cap band and start looping your border out, border bands over onto themselves. It's just looping your border basically the same as you do any other border. Go down in through all the bands, make sure you go through all the bands, grab your border bands, and loop them onto themselves. Just make sure that you go through all the bands when you go down in your pins, and grab your border bands and bring them up through and loop them back onto themselves. And of course, you want to make sure you go in on the end, like so. And we'll come back down here and do the other side. Making sure we go down in all the bands. Oops, I'm just going inside a band there. And go in on the end. Okay. Now, we can take our band that we laid at the beginning, go in through all of these bands that we have at the end here, pull it up, and put our C-clip. Gonna come back and start taking our bracelet off on the sides first. With our hook. this is what it looks like so far. Now, in case you don't know how to do an extension, I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to take whatever color your border band is, your border color is. In my case, it's white. And I know for me, I need 8. So I'm going to just lay a single chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to carefully hold on to those bands you have your C-clip attached to. Put your finger through it is the safest way so you don't lose them. Take your C-clip off temporarily. Slide those bands over those 2 pegs at the end where you stopped laying your bands. Then turn your loom around and loop those bands just like you would a single chain, like so. And this will act as your extension. And then you can add your C-clip to these last 2. Pull it off of your loom. And then you attach it to where you have the cap band at the beginning when we started our looping. And there's your completed bracelet. And that's your not so ordinary Starburst bracelet. Remember to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to bringing you more videos. Thanks for joining us again. Until next time.